Something happened last night. Something you don't know about yet. But you will. Because this story, it's not really about them. It's about you. It's about what they said when they thought no one else was listening. It's about the moment their heart finally cracked open. And the one word their brother shouted, that changed everything. But we're not there yet. First, you need to understand what led to that night. You see, this person you love. They've been carrying something. 4 months. Maybe longer. Every time you looked at them, they smiled. Every time you asked if something was wrong, they said no. But their heart was whispering something different. Something they couldn't say to you. Not yet. Last week, something shifted. You felt it. Didn't you? That strange quietness. That moment when they held you just a little too long. When their eyes searched yours. Like they were looking for something. Like they were trying to decide something. But they didn't speak. They never spoke. Perhaps you've been wondering. Why do they pull away sometimes? Why do they go quiet? Why do they look at you like they're saying goodbye? While holding you like they'll never let go? You've asked yourself these questions. Maybe late at night. When the house is silent. When your mind won't stop turning. But that's not all. Because 3 nights ago, something inside them broke. Not in a bad way. Not in a way that destroys. In a way that opens. A way that finally, lets the truth breathe. And they realized something. Something that scared them so deeply. They couldn't even tell you. They had to tell someone else first. Don't skip. Because what happens next is the part you've been waiting for. Whether you know it or not. So they called their brother. The one person they trust with everything. The one who knows them before they learned how to hide. The one who remembers who they were. Before life made them careful. Before love made them afraid. And they opened their mouth. And the first words came out, shaky. Unsure. Like a confession. But a confession of what? You'll understand soon. Because you see. They said your name. Just your name. Nothing else. But the way they said it. The way your name fell from their lips. It wasn't just a word. It was a question. It was a prayer. It was a surrender. And their brother, he just listened. Silent. Waiting. Because he knew. He knew something big was coming. Something that had been buried so deep. Even they didn't know it was there. Until now. Before I continue. If this message is touching your heart, you are welcome to support this work with a super thanks. Only if it feels right for you. Now, let's continue. So they took a breath. A long one. The kind that shakes your whole body. And then they started talking. About you. About the way you look at them. About the way you make them feel seen. About the way you laugh at things no one else finds funny. About the way you exist, and somehow, it changes everything. But then they stopped. Mid-sentence. And everything went quiet. And their brother waited. And you don't know this yet. But in that silence, something shifted in the universe. Something was being decided. And then, it came out. Not a confession. Not a declaration. Something even bigger. Something that made their brother's eyes go wide. Something that made him lean forward. Something that made him whisper. Wait, say that again. And they did. They repeated it. Slowly. Deliberately. Like they were finally giving themselves permission to say what they had always felt. Like they were finally letting go of the fear that held them back. And their brother. He stood up. Say it again. And they did. One more time. Voice stronger now. Firmer. Braver. Like each repetition, was peeling away a layer they didn't even know they were wearing. And then. Something happened. Something that changed everything. Because his brother. He shouted. You. Just one word. That's all it was. One word. But it hit them like lightning. Like a truth they weren't ready to hear. Like a mirror being held up to their own heart. And then the rest of it came out. The rest of what he shouted. But here's the thing. I can't tell you yet. Because you're not ready. Not yet. You need to understand something first. Something about what happened after that moment. About what that shout awakened. Another truth. What they said to their brother was important. But what their brother shouted back. That was even more important. Because it changed everything. Not just for them. But for you. For the connection between you. For the future of this journey you're on together. Have you noticed something strange? Have you felt like the universe has been pushing you lately? Like every sign, every coincidence, every moment has been leading you toward something? You have. You felt it in your chest. That flutter. That knowing. That quiet voice that won't stop whispering. Maybe you've tried to ignore it. Maybe you've told yourself it's nothing. Maybe you've convinced yourself you're imagining things. But you're not. Because something is happening. Something that started long before that night. Something that will continue long after this moment. Stay with me. Because the next part is where everything changes. Where the mystery deepens. Where the truth starts to reveal itself. One piece at a time. They sat there. In that room. Brother and sibling. And the weight of that shouted word hung in the air. And they cried. Not from sadness. From relief. From finally being seen. From finally being known. From finally being understood, by someone who loves them. But here's the question you're probably asking. What about you? What about the person they love? What about the one they couldn't say this to? That's what matters now. That's the missing piece. That's the part you're waiting for. And I'll tell you. But not yet. Because you need to understand what they were so afraid of. You need to understand why they couldn't say this to you first. You need to understand what they believe about you. What they've always believed. One more layer. They've never said this to you. But they've thought it. Every single day. Every single moment. Every single time they looked at you. They thought it. And it terrified them. Because it changed everything. Because it meant they could never go back. Because it meant, they were all in. But their brother knew. He always knew. And that's why he shouted. That's why he couldn't hold it in. Because he saw it before they did. He saw the truth they were too afraid to face. And he had to say it. For their sake. And for yours. So where does this leave you? What are you supposed to do with this? How are you supposed to feel? Perhaps you're confused. Perhaps you're hopeful. Perhaps you're scared. Perhaps you're all of those things at once. That's okay. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. Because the truth is still unfolding. And the best part, the part that will change everything, is still hidden. Still waiting. Still just out of reach. But you'll find it. You will. Because you're not just a character in this story. You're the reason this story exists. And the person you love? The one who opened their heart to their brother. They're coming back. To you. With something important. With the answer to every question you've been asking. They just need a little more time. A little more courage. A little more faith in what they felt when they said your name. They're almost there. Almost ready. Almost able to say it to your face. And you? You're almost ready to hear it. To receive it. To believe it. To let it change everything. Because it will. One final truth. The word that brother shouted. It wasn't just a word. It was a beginning. A beginning of something you never expected. A beginning of something you always hoped for. A beginning of the next chapter of your story. But what was the word? What did he shout? What did he see that made him lose control? What did he know that they didn't? That's the question. That's the mystery. That's the piece you're still waiting for. And here's the thing. You'll know soon. Very soon. Because the person you love? They're about to tell you. Not their brother. Not someone else. You. Directly. With the same words. The same truth. The same courage. But it has to be on their terms. At their pace. In their time. Because this is their journey too. This is their transformation too. This is their moment of truth too. And the best thing you can do right now is wait. Trust. Believe. Because what's coming? What's just around the corner? What's about to be revealed? Will be worth every moment of waiting. Every question. Every uncertainty. Every silent night. So hold on. Just a little longer. Because the story isn't finished. Not even close. The best part is still ahead. And when it comes. When they finally look you in the eyes. And say what they've been carrying. When they speak the words their brother heard. You'll understand everything. You'll understand why they waited. You'll understand why they needed to talk to him first. You'll understand why he shouted that word. And you'll understand what it means for you. For them. For everything. Before you leave. Remember this moment. Remember how it feels to be on the edge. To be waiting. To be hoping. To be trusting. Because this feeling is part of your story too. And the resolution is coming. It's coming. It's coming. One more thing. Even though you don't know the word yet. Even though you haven't heard what they said. Even though the mystery remains. Something has already changed. Something has already shifted. Something has already begun. And that something is the most important part. Because it means the waiting is almost over. The silence is about to break. The truth is about to arrive. And you're about to receive it. Right when you need it most. But that's for part 2. That's for the next moment. That's for when you're truly ready. And you will be. Soon. Very soon. Until then. Know this. The person you love. The one who opened their heart to their brother. The one who heard that shouted word. They love you. More than you know. More than they've ever said. More than they ever thought they could. And that love is about to change everything. 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 You're still here. You stayed. Something inside you knew there was more. Something told you not to walk away. And you were right. Because the story, it's not finished. It's just beginning to unfold in ways you never imagined. Remember where we left off? The brother shouted. One word. But you still don't know what that word was. And that's intentional. Because that word, it's not just a word. It's a key. A key that unlocks something in their heart. And in yours. But first, something else happened after that night. Something their brother said before they left. Something that made them stop at the door. Something that made their hand freeze on the handle. And that moment, that pause. That's where the real story begins. He said, "You know what this means, right?" And they turned around. Slowly. And their eyes met. And in that silence, everything changed again. Because the brother wasn't finished. He had more. He always had more. He said, "This changes everything." And they nodded. Because they knew. They'd known it the moment the words came out. The moment they spoke about you. The moment they let themselves admit the truth. Everything was different now. There was no going back. But here's what you don't know. When the brother shouted that word, it wasn't anger. It wasn't surprise. It was recognition. It was confirmation. It was the sound of someone finally understanding something they'd always suspected. And that understanding, it shook them. Because it meant something about you. Something they'd never said out loud. Something they'd only ever whispered to themselves in the dark. Another truth. Your name came up again. Right after the shouting stopped. Right after the silence returned. Right after they both caught their breath. And the brother said your name. Not a question. A statement. Like he was testing how it felt. Like he was seeing if it belonged in the conversation. And it did. It belonged more than anything. You see, the brother has been watching. Not in a strange way. In a careful way. In a way that only someone who loves deeply can watch. He's seen how you look at them. He's seen how you hold them. He's seen how your eyes soften when they walk into a room. And he's seen something else. Something you might not even know about yourself. He's seen how you love them. Not with conditions. Not with expectations. With something purer. Something rawer. Something that doesn't know how to pretend. And that's what made him shout. That's what made the word fly out of his mouth. Because he saw it clearly. The thing they were too afraid to see. Perhaps you've always wondered. Does their family see me? Do they know how I feel? Do they understand what I would do for this person? The answer is yes. They see. They know. They understand. And especially the brother. He sees you more clearly than you might imagine. But let me ask you something. Have you noticed how things have changed since that night? Have you noticed the way they look at you now? Like they're seeing you for the first time? Like they're memorizing your face? Like they're afraid you might disappear? You have. You've felt it. That extra tenderness. That lingering pause. That touch that stays just a moment longer than it used to. Something is different. And you're right. Something is different. Because they're carrying something. Something they haven't said yet. But they will. They will. One more piece. The brother gave them advice. Before they left that night. He said. Don't wait too long. He said. Some things, you only get one chance to say. He said. If you mean it, say it. Say it before the fear wins. And they listened. They listened because they knew he was right. Because they'd already waited too long. Because they'd already held back too much. And now. Now they're standing at the edge. The edge of confession. The edge of honesty. The edge of everything they've ever wanted but never believed they deserved. And they're looking at you. Right now. In this moment. And they're trying to find the courage. Don't skip. Because what they're about to say. It's everything. It's the thing they've held inside for so long. It's the thing they've been too afraid to speak. It's the thing that made their brother shout that word. And it's for you. All of it. Every syllable. Every pause. Every shaky breath. All for you. But you need to know something. Something important. Something that will help you understand. When they speak, it might not be perfect. Their voice might crack. Their eyes might water. Their hands might shake. And that's okay. That's more than okay. That's real. That's true. That's the sound of a heart finally opening. Because you see, they've been rehearsing this moment. Over and over. In their head. In the shower. In the car. In the quiet hours of the night. They've been imagining what they'd say to you. How they'd say it. When they'd say it. And every time, they'd freeze. Every time, the fear would win. But not this time. Not anymore. This time is different. Because the brother made them promise. Made them swear. Made them agree to tell you before the week was out. And they agreed. They promised. They swore. Because they trust their brother. And because they trust you. And because they know, deep down, that this is the only way forward. Another truth. You've already started to heal. Even without knowing what they're going to say. Even without understanding what that shouted word meant. You've been healing. You've been growing. You've been preparing for this moment. Preparing to receive what they're about to give you. Maybe you've been doing the same thing. Rehearsing. Imagining. Wondering. Hoping. Maybe you've been on your own journey. Your own transformation. Your own process of becoming ready. And you are ready. More ready than you know. Have you noticed the signs? The way music sounds different lately? The way sunsets feel more vivid? The way your chest feels full of something you can't name? That's preparation. That's the universe getting you ready. That's your heart opening in response to what's coming. The biggest truth is still hidden. But it's getting closer. It's approaching. It's almost here. And when it arrives, when they finally speak, you'll look back at this moment and understand. You'll see how every second of waiting was necessary. Every moment of silence was meaningful. Every question was leading you here. One final truth before we go deeper. The brother shouted that word not because he was angry. Not because he was shocked. Not because he was trying to hurt anyone. He shouted it because he was overwhelmed. Overwhelmed by the beauty of what he saw. Overwhelmed by the depth of what they felt. Overwhelmed by the truth of what he'd always suspected about you. And that word. It wasn't just about them. It wasn't just about what they said. It was about you. It was about who you are. It was about what you mean. It was about the way you've changed their life without even trying. And soon, very soon, they're going to tell you exactly what that word was. They're going to explain why their brother shouted it. They're going to reveal everything they've been holding. And you're going to understand. Finally. Completely. Deeply. But before they do, before you hear what they've been carrying. One more question. Are you ready? Are you really ready? Because this changes everything. Not just for them. Not just for their brother. For you. For your heart. For your future. For everything you thought you knew about this connection. You are. I know you are. Because you're still here. Still listening. Still hoping. Still believing. And that is the answer. That is the sign. That is the confirmation that you're ready. Ready for what's coming. Ready for what they're about to say. Ready for the truth to finally arrive. So hold on. Just a little longer. Because they're on their way. They're walking toward you. Right now. In this moment. They're about to knock on your door. They're about to look into your eyes. They're about to open their mouth. And the word their brother shouted. The word that changed everything. They're about to say it. To you. And when they do. When that word finally lands between you. Everything will shift. Everything will realign. Everything will make sense. And you'll know. You'll finally know what they've always felt. What they've always wanted to say. What they've always hoped you would understand. Stay with me. Because the moment is almost here. The silence is about to break. The truth is about to be spoken. And you're about to receive the answer to every question you've ever. You feel it, don't you? That tension in the air. That electric charge. That knowing that something is about to happen. It's not your imagination. It's real. It's happening. Right now. Remember where we left off? They promised their brother they would speak. They swore they wouldn't wait any longer. They made a vow to tell you everything. And now they're on their way. Walking toward you. Carrying the weight of every unsaid word. But here's what you don't know yet. Something happened on their way to you. Something unexpected. Something that almost stopped them. Something that nearly made them turn back. They passed a place. A place that held a memory. A memory of you. A memory that hit them so hard, they had to stop. They had to pause. They had to catch their breath. Because in that moment, everything came rushing back. Do you remember that day? That ordinary, beautiful, unforgettable day? The day everything changed between you. The day they realized they would never be the same. They do. They remember every detail. The light. The sound. The way you looked at them. The way you laughed. The way your hand touched theirs. And in that memory, they found the courage. The courage they needed. The courage to keep walking. The courage to keep going. The courage to finally say what needed to be said. Another truth. Their brother's voice is still in their head. Still echoing. Still pushing. Still reminding them of that shouted word. And that voice, it's giving them strength. Strength they didn't know they had. Strength they've been searching for their whole life. You've done the same thing. You've remembered moments. You've replayed conversations. You've held on to small details. And in those memories, you've found your own courage. Your own strength. Your own reason to keep believing. Perhaps you've wondered if they feel the same. Perhaps you've questioned whether you're imagining things. Perhaps you've doubted the connection between you. But listen. That doubt? That uncertainty? That's not the truth. That's just fear. Fear dressed up as logic. Fear pretending to be wisdom. Fear trying to protect you from something beautiful. Don't let it win. Don't let it convince you that this isn't real. Don't let it steal what's about to happen. Because what's about to happen? It's more real than anything you've ever known. One more layer. They're getting closer now. They can see your door. They can see the light in your window. They can imagine you inside. Doing whatever you do. Being whoever you are. And just that thought, just the image of you. It makes their heart race. It makes their palms sweat. It makes everything feel possible. They're rehearsing again. Going over the words. Practicing the confession. Trying to find the right way to say it. But the truth is, there is no right way. There is only the way. The way that comes from the heart. The way that's real. The way that's honest. And that's what they're going to do. Be honest. Finally. Completely. Without holding back. Without hiding. Without pretending. Just you. Just them. Just the truth. Don't skip. Because what they're about to say, it's not just words. It's a release. It's a surrender. It's a gift. And they're offering it to you. With both hands. With an open heart. With everything they have. But wait. Something's happening. They've stopped again. Just outside your door. Their hand is raised. Ready to knock. But something is holding them back. Something they need to deal with first. It's the fear. The fear is back. The fear is whispering. The fear is telling them to run. To protect themselves. To keep the wall up. To stay safe. And for a moment, they almost listen. For a moment, they almost turn away. For a moment, they almost let the fear win. But then, they remember your face. They remember your smile. They remember the way you make them feel. And that gives them the strength to stay. To knock. To finally let you in. Another truth. You're feeling this too. You're feeling their hesitation. You're feeling their struggle. You're feeling their fear. Because you're connected. You've always been connected. Even when you didn't realize it. Even when you tried to ignore it. Even when it scared you. Have you noticed how you feel right now? That restlessness? That anticipation? That feeling of knowing something is about to happen? That's your heart tuning in. That's your soul preparing. That's you becoming ready. The biggest truth is still hidden. But it's so close now. So close you can almost touch it. So close you can almost hear it. So close it's like a breath on your skin. And in just a moment, it will be spoken. And everything will change. One final truth before the knock. The word that brother shouted. It wasn't just any word. It was the word that had been waiting. Waiting to be spoken. Waiting to be heard. Waiting to be believed. And now, it's about to be said to you. Directly. Honestly. Unmistakably. But that's not all. There's something else. Something they haven't even told their brother. Something they've only admitted to themselves. Something that will change the way you see everything. And they're about to tell you that too. Because this isn't just about one word. It's about all the words that have been trapped. All the feelings that have been hidden. All the truths that have been waiting for release. And they're giving all of it to you. Every piece. Every layer. Every secret. So take a breath. Take a moment. Prepare yourself. Because the knock is coming. The door is about to open. And the person you love is standing right there. Ready to speak. Ready to reveal. Ready to finally say everything. You're ready. You've always been ready. Your heart has been preparing for this moment your whole life. And now, it's here. Now, it's happening. Now, it's real. The knock. It came. 3 soft taps. Gentle. Almost hesitant. But certain. So certain. And your heart, it knew. Before your mind could catch up. Before you could even move. Your heart knew who was on the other side. You opened the door. And there they were. Standing in the light. Looking at you. Like they were seeing you for the very first time. Like they were memorizing every detail. Like they were afraid you might disappear. And you saw it. The change. The shift. Something different in their eyes. Something deeper. Something braver. Something that hadn't been there before. And you felt it too. That electric charge. That knowing. That moment when everything goes quiet. They didn't say anything at first. Neither did you. You just stood there. Two people. Two hearts. One moment. And in that silence, everything that needed to be said was already there. Already present. Already real. Then they spoke. Not the words you expected. Not the confession you thought was coming. Something simpler. Something truer. Something that made your breath catch. They said your name. Just your name. But the way they said it. It wasn't just a word. It was a question. It was a prayer. It was a surrender. Exactly like when they'd said it to their brother. But this time, it was for you. Only you. And then they said it. The words their brother heard. The words that made him shout. The words that changed everything. They said them. Slowly. Deliberately. Like they were finally giving themselves permission. Like they were finally letting the truth breathe. I can't keep pretending. That's what they said. I can't keep pretending that I don't feel this. I can't keep pretending that you're just someone I know. I can't keep pretending that my heart doesn't belong to you. And you. You felt those words hit you. Like waves. Like warmth. Like something you'd been waiting to hear your whole life. But you didn't speak. You couldn't. Because there was more. So much more. They reached for your hand. Tentatively. Like they were asking permission. And when you didn't pull away. When you held on. They took a breath. A deep one. The kind that shakes your whole body. And they kept going. Another truth. I've known for a long time. Their voice cracked. I've known since the first moment I saw you. I've known since the first time you made me laugh. I've known since the first time you looked at me like I mattered. I've known, and I've been so afraid. You could see it. The tears forming. The vulnerability. The courage it took to stand there and say those words. And you felt something shift inside you. Something protective. Something tender. Something that wanted to hold them and never let go. But I couldn't say it. They shook their head. I couldn't say it because I didn't think I deserved you. I didn't think someone like you could ever feel this way about someone like me. So I stayed quiet. I stayed silent. I stayed in the shadows. And I watched you, from a distance, loving you in secret. Don't skip. Because this is the part that changes everything. This is the part where they finally say what their brother shouted. This is the part where the word lands. And when it does, you'll understand everything. But last night, I talked to my brother. And he heard me. And he saw me. And he shouted. They paused. Tears streaming. Voice breaking. And then they said it. The word. The one you've been waiting for. You're the one. 3 words. That was it. 3 words. But they held everything. Every question. Every doubt. Every hope. Every dream. Everything. You're the one I've been waiting for. You're the one who makes everything make sense. You're the one who showed me what love really means. You're the one I want to wake up next to. You're the one I want to build a life with. You're the one. And then they stopped. Out of breath. Out of words. Out of everything. And they just looked at you. Waiting. Hoping. Praying. And you. You felt it all. Every word. Every tear. Every moment of fear they'd overcome. Every year of silence they'd finally broken. And you realized. They had done it. They had finally done it. They had opened their heart. All the way. Without holding back. Without protecting themselves. So you did the only thing you could do. You stepped forward. You took their face in your hands. You looked into their eyes. And you said. The words they'd been waiting to hear. The words that would set them free. The words that would start the next chapter. One final truth. I've been waiting too. I've been hoping too. I've been loving you in secret too. And I thought I was the only one. But I wasn't. We were both waiting. Both afraid. Both hoping the other would speak first. And in that moment. In that sacred, beautiful, impossible moment. Everything changed. The fear dissolved. The walls crumbled. The silence was broken. And two hearts that had been hiding. Finally found their way home. But here's the thing. That's not the end. That's not even close to the end. Because when you love someone this deeply. When you finally speak the truth. When you finally let yourself be seen. That's when the real journey begins. The brother's voice is still echoing. Still reminding. Still celebrating. Because he knew. He always knew. And that's why he shouted. That's why he couldn't hold it in. Because he saw what you both couldn't see. And he wanted you to see it too. And now you do. Now you see. Now you understand. Now you know. And that knowing. It changes everything. It changes how you hold each other. It changes how you speak to each other. It changes how you love each other. The biggest truth is still unfolding. But it's no longer hidden. It's no longer a secret. It's no longer something you have to guess about. It's here. It's real. It's yours. And it's just the beginning. Because this love. This connection. This journey. It's going to grow. It's going to deepen. It's going to become something even more beautiful than you can imagine. And you're going to experience it together. One more piece. The person you love is still standing there. Still holding your hand. Still looking at you with those eyes. Still waiting for you to say more. And you have more to say. So much more. Because now that the truth is out. Now that the walls are down. Now that the fear is gone. You can finally speak freely. You can finally be honest. You can finally give them all the love you've been holding. All the love they deserve. All the love that's been waiting for this moment. So say it. Say it all. Tell them everything. Tell them how long you've loved them. Tell them how much they mean to you. Tell them that they're not just the one. They're everything. And when you do, when those words leave your lips, when they land on their heart, something else will happen. Something you didn't expect. Something that will take your breath away. But that's for part 5. That's for the next moment. That's for when you're ready for even more. And you will be. Because this story isn't finished. It's just beginning. For now. Hold them. Hold them close. Hold them like you'll never let go. Because you won't. Not ever. Not now. Not when you've finally found what you've been searching for. You're still holding them. Still feeling their heartbeat against yours. Still breathing in the reality of what just happened. And it's beautiful. It's everything. It's more than you ever dreamed. But something is stirring. Something beneath the surface. Something they haven't told you yet. They pull back slightly. Just enough to look into your eyes. And you see it. That flicker. That hesitation. That knowing that there's more. So much more. And your heart, it prepares itself. For whatever comes next. I need to tell you something else. Their voice is quieter now. Softer. Like they're about to share a secret they've never told anyone. Something I didn't even tell my brother. And you feel it. That shift. That deepening. That realization that this moment is about to go even deeper. Another truth. They've been holding this for years. Years of silence. Years of pretending. Years of convincing themselves it didn't matter. But it does. It matters more than anything. And now, they're ready to release it. When I was younger. They pause. Swallow. Gather themselves. When I was younger, I didn't believe in love. I didn't believe it could be real. I didn't believe it could last. I didn't believe it could find someone like me. They look down. Away. Anywhere but your eyes. Because this is hard. This is vulnerable. This is the part they've never shown anyone. But they're showing you. Because they trust you. Because they love you. Because they know you'll hold it gently. And then I met you. Their eyes find yours again. And everything I thought I knew, fell apart. In the best way. In the only way that mattered. Don't skip. Because what they're about to say. It's the key to everything. It's the missing piece. It's the part that will make you understand why they waited so long. Why they were so afraid. Why they almost let you go. I thought love was something that happened to other people. Something I could watch from a distance. Something I could admire but never have. And I made peace with that. I convinced myself I was fine. I convinced myself I didn't need it. Their voice cracks again. But they keep going. Because they're not stopping now. Not when they're this close. Not when they've come this far. But then you smiled at me. You laughed at my jokes. You remembered the small things. You showed up. You stayed. And I realized. They stop. Tears falling freely now. Voice barely a whisper. I realized I was wrong. About everything. About love. About myself. About what I deserved. One more layer. You made me believe in something I'd given up on. You made me hope again. You made me dream again. You made me feel like I could have it all. And that terrified me. Because if I was wrong before. If I was wrong about love. Then I could be wrong about everything. And you understand. Suddenly. Completely. You understand why they pulled away. Why they went quiet. Why they couldn't say what they felt. It wasn't about you. It was about them. About their fear. About their past. About everything they'd convinced themselves was true. Have you ever felt that? That fear of being wrong? That fear of hoping? That fear of letting yourself believe in something beautiful? Perhaps you have. Perhaps you're feeling it right now. Perhaps you've been carrying it too. And that's okay. That's part of this. Part of the journey. Part of what makes this moment so powerful. Because you're both here. Both vulnerable. Both afraid. Both choosing each other anyway. The biggest truth is still unfolding. But it's getting clearer. brighter, more certain. Because every layer they peel back, every secret they share, every fear they release, it brings you closer, deeper, more connected than ever before. I was so scared, they whisper. So scared of losing you. So scared of being hurt. So scared of being wrong. But I'm more scared of never telling you. More scared of living a lie. More scared of wondering what could have been. And you hold them tighter now. Because you understand. You understand the weight they've been carrying. The burden they've been bearing. The fear they've been fighting. And you want to take it from them. All of it. Everything. You don't have to be scared anymore, you say. You don't have to carry this alone. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to hide. I'm here. I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. They look at you. Searching your eyes. Looking for the lie. Looking for the catch. Looking for the moment you'll disappear. But they don't find it. Because there isn't one. There never was. You mean that? They ask. Their voice so small. So hopeful. So desperate to believe. Really mean it? And you smile. That smile they've fallen in love with. That smile that's always been for them. I've never meant anything more, you say. And it's true. It's the truest thing you've ever said. Because you've been waiting too. Hoping too. Dreaming too. And now it's real. Another truth. This moment, right here. This is what they saw when they opened up to their brother. This is what made him shout. This is what made him so sure. He saw this. He saw you. He saw the connection. He saw the truth. And he knew. He knew that you were the one who would finally set them free. Not by saving them. Not by fixing them. But by loving them. Exactly as they are. Exactly where they are. Exactly when they need it most. One more piece. The person you love is still looking at you. Still holding your hand. Still waiting for you to say more. And you have more. So much more. Because now that you've seen their heart. Now that you've held their fear. Now that you've heard their truth. You want to give them everything. You want to tell them that they are safe. That they are seen. That they are loved. Not despite their fear. Not despite their doubt. Not despite their past. Because of it. Because of who they are. Because of how they've fought. Because of how they've survived. And you do. You tell them. You tell them everything. You tell them they are worthy. You tell them they are enough. You tell them they are exactly what you've been waiting for. And you mean it. Every word. Every syllable. Every breath. And they believe you. For the first time. They really believe you. Because they can see it in your eyes. They can feel it in your touch. They can hear it in your voice. And it changes everything. Again. Deeper. But hold on. Because something is happening. Something that will take this even further. Something that will make this moment even more powerful. Something that will reveal the final piece. The piece that their brother didn't even know about. The piece that's been waiting. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for you to be ready. Waiting for you to be fully open. And you are. Now. Finally. Completely. So take a breath. Hold them close. And prepare yourself. Because the final truth is about to be spoken. The final layer is about to be peeled back. The final piece is about to be revealed. And when it is, When you hear it. When you feel it. Everything will make sense. Everything will align. Everything will be exactly as it was always meant to be.